Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to tackle a concept that absolutely dominates the news, drives global economic policies, and, let's be real, directly impacts every single one of our wallets. Yep, we're talking about inflation. But hey, instead of getting bogged down in complicated financial jargon and honestly kind of stressful charts, we're going to unpack the wild mechanics of economics using a brilliant yet incredibly simple monkey and banana metaphor from our source material. By the end of this, you'll have a crystal clear understanding of how money loses its value, all through the lens of a jungle economy. Okay, let's dive right into the core question that's going to act as the perfect hook for our entire journey today. Why exactly do bananas get more expensive? It's a super simple premise, right? But the answer actually reveals the fundamental gears of global finance. So let's head into the jungle and see how this whole thing works. Now, to really understand inflation, we've got to start with the basic laws of supply and demand. Think about it. If our monkeys have just one single rare banana, that rarity makes it incredibly valuable. It's scarce, and absolutely everyone wants it. But when they grow mountains of bananas, well, the fruit becomes super common and completely loses its premium. This basic relationship between scarcity and desire, that's literally the foundation of every price tag out there. So, how do prices actually start to climb? Let's kick things off with what's called demand pull inflation. Imagine the monkeys are exceptionally hungry, like ravenous, and they demand way more bananas than usual. But the farmer is producing the exact same amount. Because these hungry monkeys are simply outpacing the farmer's supply, the banana effectively becomes rarer on the market. That intense demand literally pulls the price higher. Makes sense, right? And that brilliantly illustrates our next concept, cost push inflation. This is basically the exact opposite scenario. Here, the monkey's appetite stays completely flat. They want the usual amount of bananas. But suddenly, the farmer has fewer bananas to sell. With less fruit available to satisfy that steady demand, boom, the banana is rare again. So in this case, the lack of supply pushes the cost up. Now, here's the thing. It isn't always just about the sheer number of bananas floating around. It's also about what it takes to actually grow them. What if the banana seeds themselves suddenly become much more expensive? Well, the farmer has to raise the price of the bananas just to cover his overhead for planting those trees. The crucial takeaway here is that when underlying production costs go up, the farmer passes that burden directly onto the monkeys. No way around it. But wait, what happens when we introduce an actual currency into the mix? Enter the monkey currency, leaves. This brings us to monetary inflation. And this is where it gets really interesting. Picture this. The demand for bananas is perfectly stable. The supply is perfectly stable. Nothing on the fruit side has changed at all. But suddenly, the monkeys just have way more leaves in their pockets. With so many leaves suddenly flooding the jungle, the currency itself actually loses its purchasing power. The price of the banana goes up purely because the money, the leaves, lost value. And you can see how this dynamic can easily trigger an escalating disaster, right? We call it the hyperinflation spiral. It starts innocently enough. Step one, the price of a banana goes up. So to help out, the monkey government steps in and just creates more leaves. Then the monkeys take their shiny new leaves to buy more bananas. But guess what? That increased demand forces the price up yet again. So how does the government respond? They print even more leaves. It's an endless, frantic loop of printing currency just to chase continuously rising prices. As the monkey government rapidly prints more and more leaves just to keep up with the overwhelming demand they themselves created, the sheer absurdity of the whole situation hits a breaking point. I mean, the physical amount of currency required for a basic transaction becomes so massive that, frankly, it just gets ridiculous. Eventually, the whole system completely collapses. The leaves become so utterly worthless, they can't even function as currency anymore. So the monkey government is forced into some pretty drastic measures. They literally burn the worthless cash, wipe out the entire financial system, and abruptly pivot to an entirely new economy based on sticks. Yeah, sticks. It's a stark, crazy reminder of what actually happens when monetary inflation goes completely unchecked. But listen, as the source material explicitly notes, monkey is all of us. We aren't just observing this jungle, we actually live in it. So let's shift gears and look at how these economic shifts impact your personal wealth. If your personal supply of leaves grows at the exact same rate as the price of a banana, you're happy. Your purchasing power is maintained. Now, if you get way more leaves but banana prices stay flat, you are incredibly rich. But here's the trap most of us fall into. Your leaves stay exactly the same while the price of the banana absolutely skyrockets. That leaves you poor and, well, sad. And no one wants to be the poor, sad monkey, right? To avoid that awful fate as the cost of living climbs, the ultimate takeaway is actually remarkably simple. You absolutely must invest your bananas today. Hoarding your leaves under a mattress while prices rise basically guarantees you're going to lose your purchasing power. But by investing, it's like you're planting your own banana trees, ensuring that your initial effort yields more fruit over time to outpace those rising costs. Because as we've learned through this whole jungle journey, sometimes inflation can get, well, really bananas. It can sneak up on you through hidden production costs, ravenous demand, or a government just printing way too many leaves. Understanding these underlying mechanics is absolutely the vital first step to protecting yourself. Which leaves us with one final crucial question to ask ourselves. How are you managing your own leaves in today's economy? Are you really prepared for when the price of your bananas inevitably goes up? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.